Today's question is about chapter 2, verse 46 of Patanjali's Yoga Sutra, Sthiram Sukham Asanam. So I've seen it translated as practicing yoga with strength and in a relaxed manner gives rise to harmony with the physical body. But I've heard you translate it differently. So can you just talk a little bit about why and how you think about this sutra?
I look at the words more literally. The first word is sthiram, which comes from the Sanskrit verb sta, which means to stay, and it has the connotation in English like the word abide. There's a certain fullness and richness and groundedness about abiding. It's not staying out of some force or unwillingness. It's a complete opening and willingness to be still. Mm-hmm. The second word, sukham, is part of a dyad of words, sukham and dukkam. Sukham means ease, and dukkam means suffering. So, sthiram sukham asanam. Asanam is a grammatical form of the word asana in the Sanskrit language. So Sthiram Sukham Asanam is the definition of asana, and it means to me abiding, being still in other words, abiding in ease is asana. So it characterizes, as far as I understand it, asana as having two important qualities. There must be a stillness, an inner stillness, a profound stillness, and a joyful stillness, not a forced one. So ease and is the next word, and there must be a sense of pleasure in a way, of completeness in a way, of the giving up of the struggle, of acting without doing. And that is a balanced state in which we see written about in the Bhagavad Gita, when Krishna tells Arjuna, the hero, you must act, act from purity, act from your heart, act from what is in front of you. So an asana to me has nothing to do with struggle. If there's struggle, if there's ambition, if there's ego, if there's wanting to get it, then there is you miss that ease. I was a personal experience when I was learning to do scorpion pose, elbow stand, bending the knees toward the head. When I was learning how to do that, I had the experience once of paying attention to the process of the pose, breathing, opening, letting go, settling deeply into the pose, in emotionally and physically as well as psychologically, and all of a sudden I felt something bumping my head, and it was my feet. But it was a very different experience than saying, I'm going to touch my toes to my head, I'm going to touch my toes to my head, I've got to get this push, push, push. So to me, the asana must reflect a profound stillness. Even if the outside is moving, there is a connection inside me with the vastness and the sacredness and the profundity of the center. And being led by the unbelievable ease that can exist for us in the midst of the storm of our thoughts and the earthquakes and the tornadoes and the hurricanes of our emotions, that we are not that there is what Jesus called it was the peace that passes all understanding. And I'd like to tell you another brief story about that in conclusion. I call it, quote, the first asana I ever did, unquote. It wasn't literally, but I was taking a class and I was with a teacher I trusted, and I was in a receptive mode, and we did what was at that time my favorite pose, Paschimottanasana, straight leg seated forward bending. And I was in the pose, and I was having all the thoughts that arise. Oh, I really like this. Oh, wow, this is stretching. my left hamstring's more than my right. Oh, I'm really good at this. Oh, I shouldn't have that thought. And I was spinning in the normal way, and then suddenly something shifted. And there arose in me a sense of that, a little bit of that sense of ease and stability. And I realized that my body was temporarily a container for that. And I just danced in that ease. I danced in that silence. I danced in that absolute stability of not moving. I was dancing. And therefore, when the teacher said at some point, come up, meaning stop doing the pose, literally, actually I felt confused. I wasn't doing anything, so the word stop doing it made no sense. It was as if I said to you right now, stop jumping up and down when you're sitting in a chair. It would be confusing. And then, of course, a part of my brain, the I part of my brain went, wow, this is really cool. And I began to come out of that state, but it gave me a taste of what that verse meant.
The Sthira Sukham.
Yes.
That's lovely, Mom. Thank you.
You're welcome.